Good evening, I'm Yancey Cook, and you guessed it, here's what's cooking in North Central Florida sports. The SEC baseball tournament began this morning with the first game being between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. The early start didn't affect the two teams as Vanderbilt started off the bottom half of the first by pushing 2 runs across the plate. Tennessee answered right back with 2 of their own in the top of the second before Vandy scored another in the bottom of the second. Vandy went on to win the game 3-2. Alabama and Kentucky are in action right now, and the winner will play Florida tomorrow afternoon. Football fans, there are only 102 more days until Idaho comes to the Swamp and the Gators begin their 2014 season. The SEC released the Western Conference rotating opponents for football through 2025, and some interesting matchups are lined up for the Gators. Here's a look at the matchups through 2018. Of course, the big matchup at Alabama this year is a game fans have had circled for quite some time. But now there's another game to circle. Texas A&M will be headed to the Swamp for the first time in program history in 2017. The Western Conference Finals tipped off last night with the 2-seed Thunder taking on the top seed San Antonio Spurs at the AT&T Center. With these two powerhouses, the Spurs led by Tony Parker and the Thunder led by Kevin Durant, we may be looking at a similar battle to the one fought at this place to see who gets to go to the NBA Finals. The main storyline of the game was how easily the Spurs were able to penetrate the lane, as shown by this Tony Parker routine layup, without Serge Ibaka manning the middle for the Thunder. Yeah, A for effort there by Nick Collison. Tim Duncan looked like the 28-year-old version of himself as he finished the game with 27 points, tying his playoff high from Game 1 against the Mavericks in the first round. The Thunder made a comeback, however, and cut the game to 2 with this, KD Trey. I still don't understand why you leave him that open. But the Spurs would not be outdone, and the game was virtually sealed on this beautiful drive and finish by Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs went on to win the game 122-105, their 10th straight series opening win. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals gets underway in a couple of hours. After going down 1-0 to the Pacers, head coach Eric Spoelstra was not happy with his team's defensive effort.
You would say coming into the game that we'd score 96 and have over 50 in the paint, I would say we'd be in the driver's seat for a win if we do our normal, even anywhere close to our normal defense. That wasn't the case.
While those playoff teams might not be interested, the NBA draft lottery takes place tonight. The Orlando Magic actually have 2 lottery picks thanks to a trade they made with the Nuggets, giving them one of the many first-round picks the Knicks gave to Denver for Carmelo Anthony. Here's a look at the odds of winning the first pick for the top 5 teams. While the Bucks have the best odds, they're trying to buck a trend. Since 1990, when the lottery began, only 3 times has the team with the best odds won the first overall pick. Some more Florida Gator sports news. The Gators actually clinched their 24th SEC All-Sports title today.
This is their 6th straight All-Sports title, isn't it?
That's correct.
And 14 times overall they've swept the SEC titles.
That's right, and actually no other school in the history of the SEC has ever won all 3 events, the overall, the men's, and the women's. So great news for the Gators.
Absolutely, always nice to see them doing well.
Absolutely.
More news after the break. Stay with us.